Hello, everyone. If you are watching this video, it means that you have already found some very important key information that you will need to have if you're going to go through this course as well as you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move a few things around, but this is the student view of our course. So obviously my view is a little bit different, but I'm trying not to confuse you. And I know that even if you have taken classes in the spring, you're probably still getting used to the format and the change in format that is typical in Blackboard Ultra. So I'm trying to walk you through this a little bit, and I'm intentionally using a computer and not a phone just because it's a little easier to show where the navigation is and everything. So you'll notice that it says course faculty over in the top left corner, and that of course means me. And so yes, I am Dr. Cheryl Carvajal, and I've been teaching humanities for about 8 years now. Although I've been involved in a lot of other things, I actually have a PhD in English, and most of my study is in early literature. So I'm far better versed in the ancient world literature all the way through like the Renaissance, although I do also love the 18th century and the Romantic period. So this is my bag. I really love literature, but I also love theater, I love music. I'm also an artist, so we kind of will cover a lot of those different things. And I absolutely love architecture, and I find world religions fascinating. So this is all going to be part of what we do here in humanities. But this little video, it shouldn't be very long once I get done with it, but it's just going to be intended so that you can navigate through the course. You kind of know what to expect each week, you know where everything is, and you can locate the things that you need so that you can do what you need to do and do really well in this course. So no matter what the schedule is, the number one thing you need to do when you get to this course or to any course is to look for that connect right here where it says start here day one. Now, you've already clicked on that, or you would not be watching this video, because inside here, you have a welcome and getting started, online tools for student success. There's my syllabus, and that's the one for this semester. Then you have to confirm course enrollment. There's a work ethics thing where you can kind of see how I grade on work ethics. You're lucky you're in an online class, so unless you're egregiously awful or super fantastically amazing, you're probably going to get a 2, so don't worry about it. But then there's also another assignment, and it's actually a discussion. Who are you and why are you here? So I have an introduction where I talk about myself, and then I want you to reply with your own introduction where you talk about certain things. So the number one thing you need to do is go to this start here part. The welcome and getting started, you actually click on a page. Whenever it shows a little page like this, it either says there's going to be a document, or when you click on it, as in with this, you will see a welcome to humanities. Now, in there, it has my instructor information. So here's me. But then it also has my dean. So if you ever need to talk to somebody and you think I'm out of line and I've done something mean, then you talk to him. Or if you're going to truly, if you're going to, essentially ask about a grade, the first person to come to is to talk to me. And I'm pretty accessible. I'm pretty much in my office all the time, and so you can come by or call anytime you want to, but I'm also really accessible by email. I tend to respond to emails pretty quickly, and I try to get you the information that you need so that you know what to do. But the two things you've already found, and this is why you're in this video, is there are two things: how to navigate through Humanities 1101 and why you must not use AI in my class. Make sure you don't just watch this video, but you also watch the other one, because they both matter. One will tell you where to go, and the other one will tell you what not to do and why. The other thing that's in here is my syllabus, and that syllabus will always be specific to your course. So in it, at the very end, the last 2 pages are the due dates for everything. Okay, and you're thinking, oh no, how am I going to keep track of that? Well, one, you can print it off. You can actually see it, but you can also print the document off. I make that allowable. The other thing is that I also have dates. So if you go into your grade book, and let's do it by, here are all the things. So I'm a preview user, so it's just going to show you all of the assignments, but it doesn't just do that. It's so amazing because I've taken the time to show you when everything is due. So every single item you will notice has a due date. Now, some of that, sometimes you'll see there are several things due on the same day. Much of this is because we are in summer, but no matter what your semester is, if you're in a fall or a spring course, you're going to have more extended due dates, but they're all going to be listed right here. That means they'll show up in your calendar within Blackboard Ultra because they're all listed, but it shows all the way to the very end when everything is due. Now, they're not always in the same order because all of the research essay materials are separate. They're the last 4 things at the bottom, but they all have due dates. And so those due dates will pop up. But honestly, I'm really telling you now, this is such a good thing if you just go through and make sure you check into your class every single day. Now, most due dates are going to be on Sunday. So you have the whole weekend. I know a lot of you guys work full-time during the week. Some of you work full-time on the weekends, so you can always do this stuff ahead of time too. All tests, except for the very end, are open for at least a week. And if we're having issues with something, especially if there's issues with Blackboard, I tend to extend due dates. I tend to be pretty nice about that. However, if I open it for a week and everybody takes it and you don't, you'll have to have a really good excuse as to why for me to open it back up for you, okay? So keep that in mind. The due dates are pretty firm. Now, most things though, like chapter 1, chapter 2, the journal and discussions and things like that, those are going to be pretty much, yes, they're due as I suggest, and yet I also do accept them late to a point. So you'll notice that we have chapter 1 journal, chapter 2 journal and discussion, chapter 3 discussion and journal, and then we are going to get to a test. So whenever we have an exam, those exams are pretty much always the same thing. They cover three chapters. So 1 unit is 3 chapters every single time. We are covering 4 chapters, 4 units total, so a total of 12 chapters. So once you get to that particular element, then you're going to take the exam. Once the exam closes, the entire unit is closed. And I'm emphasizing this because it matters. It is so important that you know, oh, wait a second, once unit 1's test is over, then chapters 1, 2, and 3 are done. So you can see that each unit, I'll open this up so you can kind of see what's going on. You won't be able to see the test. That's one reason why you can't see it on your calendar either, is those are hidden to students. So, but the due date usually opens during the last week of that you're dealing with chapter 3. So it will start towards the end of that week, and then it will stay open at least a week, and then it will close the following week. So, but it will tell you when it's due. It will open up. I'll put it in the announcements. Hey, make sure you take your test. Once that test closes though, chapters 1, 2, and 3 are done. You cannot make up chapter 1 and 2 and 3. There is no late 1, 2, and 3. It's all over. You can just go ahead and move to chapter 4 in unit 2. And so I just want to emphasize this, because what I don't want you doing is, oh no, you don't do anything for 6 weeks, and then you start trying to make up chapters 1, 2, and 3, but the test you've already missed and it's just a 0. The next test you've already missed. Don't get behind. Try to stay on track, because if you fall behind, you're going to lose points and you're going to miss assignments completely. And I don't want you to do that. And you may say, oh, I'm never going to be late. But the truth is I always have a few students in a semester who literally do nothing for the majority of the semester. In the last couple weeks, they try to make up everything. There is no way in humanities for you to make this stuff up that quickly. There's too much reading. So let's talk a little bit about what's expected within the chapters. So each one, unit 1, you click on it and it opens up, and you can see everything's in order. Chapter 1 is the actual chapter. So if you click on this, you're going to see a nice little, oh, hey, this is the ancient world. This is actually a close-up of the pyramids. And then chapter 1, it says Humanities Chapter 1 ADA PDF. That is the actual chapter. So you'll need to open that chapter up and read it. Most chapters are around 25 to 30 pages. I know that chapter 9 is a little shorter. And then it says Humanities Chapter 1 lecture. That is a link to a YouTube video that I have made. Most of the YouTube videos are an hour and a half or less, but they take time. But what I do in the lecture is I explain much of what's in the chapter, and I also emphasize certain things, and I even say things like, oh, this will definitely be on the test, so make sure you study this. So it's really crucial that you both read the chapter and view the lecture. And then after that, I also have something that will help you with studying, and that's the PowerPoint. And it's the PowerPoint I use in the lecture. So not only can you view the lecture, but you can also have the PowerPoint as reference to study. Okay. So that's just chapter 1. Now, once you've done that, once you've read the chapter and you've viewed the video and you've kind of looked over the PowerPoint, then go into the chapter 1 discussion. And so that, just those two things right there will probably take you several hours. And then chapter 1 discussion, you go in and it actually asks you, so if I go into here, it's going to say choose one of the questions below. And I usually give you somewhere between 2 and 4 questions. It also has some other guidelines. Don't use AI, stuff like that, but you'll watch that other video. So this should not be a problem. And your job is to essentially choose one of these, and based upon the reading and the lecture, you're going to answer that question as fully as possible. Once you've done that and you've submitted that discussion, I'm going to go ahead and close it because I don't need to do that. Then you're going to go into the journal. Now, the chapter 1 journal is only between you and me. So this is not something that all the other students read and discuss and comment upon and things like that. No, it's just me and you. So in the discussion, what happens is you go in and you answer your discussion question. And then my expectation is for each chapter that you will read through what people have posted, and you will reply to 4 other students. Now, if it gets really, we might get into quite a conversation where you might discuss something, you may post a comment, then somebody else replies to your comment, and then you reply to their comment. Totally fine. The only thing I ask is that you be respectful to each other. It's okay to have disagreements, to disagree about the meaning of something, or about whether something's valuable or not, or whether they're, what actually a religion believes or doesn't believe. I will try to clear up those things when I go through discussions so that we have, some answers as well. But the truth is mainly what I'm looking for is that you answer one question fully and then you reply to 4 other people, or reply 4 times to other students. Okay. With the journal, all you do is turn in the journal. I will reply back to you very personally with the journal and talk to some. This is a great place for you to ask questions if there's something you don't understand. And it doesn't have to just be about chapter 1 or chapter 2 or whatever. It can be about the class. It could be about the essay. It could be about my expectations for something. It could be even about something that's in the lecture and you want to know more about it. Then go ahead and ask, because I will look up that stuff and I will do what I can to answer your questions as fully as possible. I want to see where I'm not covering something. I want to see where you're still confused. I want to see where you found something really interesting, because that's going to affect how I teach this course in the future. And so this is a way for me in real time to kind of get your take on things. And there are times too when I may see that you didn't quite understand something and I can explain it to you better. But if a lot of people don't understand something, then I'll know I need to send out something to everybody so that we're all on the same page. But it's a really good way for you to tell me what you want still to know, or what you think about what you have figured out from a particular chapter. So each week, or each time I have a chapter 1, you'll have to read it, watch the video, do the discussion, then reply to 4 people, and do the journal all by Sunday. The due dates are always going to be on that Sunday at midnight. All due dates are pretty much midnight. If you turn something in about 12:15 or even 1 in the morning, I'll feel sad that you're up that late, but I probably won't take off points. So just know, though, if you don't turn something in by the due date, it's going to mark that, like Blackboard Ultra will mark it as late and it will give it a 0. If you did turn something in, it'll leave it blank until I grade. So if you look at your grade and go, oh, I have a negative something points or something, it's because you turned something in late. Now, it doesn't mean, though, that when I grade it, I'll grade it late, but you can pretty much bet if it's a day or 2 late, you're going to get a letter grade off. So just know that in advance, but that's still better than a 0. Okay. So hopefully you understand all of those, and that's going to be every unit is going to look just like this. Unit 1 has chapters 1 through 3. Unit 2 starts with chapter 4. And it's chapter 4, 5, and 6. Unit 3, 7, 8, and 9. And unit 4 is 10, 11, and 12. And that finishes up what we're doing. So I'm trying to make it as intuitive as possible, as clear as possible. But once we finish the test will open up. You'll see it in the unit. It's always going to be at the bottom of the unit section. And once you take that test and the test closes, then we're done and we're going on to the next unit. But I'll probably, I'll post those things in the announcements as well. The other thing that you need to do and focus on, and it's the last folder, is the research essay materials. And it's not, let me go in and start. Okay, so research essay materials requires that you do everything in order. So if you don't do one aspect of it, there are 4 assignments total, and if you don't do one of them, you can't move on to the next. You actually can't get to the Dropbox to do the thing. So this has to be done in order. Here's all the instructions. So it says read essay instructions carefully. They're right here. And then I have 2 videos for you too, creating a comparison chart and how to format and structure your research essay. Both of those are really important. I always know when someone's watched them and when they haven't, because they either know how to do the assignment or they don't. So the first thing you'll do though is the topic proposal, and you'll actually go through, and here you go, research essay topic proposal. All the instructions are in there. Once you complete that and I grade it and give it back to you with feedback, then you can move on to the next part of this. Now those due dates are spread throughout the class. So watch for those in the grade book, but I'll also give you, when I post my weekly announcement, it will say, okay, this week we're doing this chapter or these 2 chapters, and we also have the research essay topic proposal. So make sure you turn it in by blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm going to be a bit more lenient on the due dates for the first two elements of this, the research essay topic proposal and the comparison chart. But the first part of the essay and the second full essential essay are both going to have pretty strict due dates. The last part especially has to be turned in on its due date, because it's usually going to be only a few days before grades are due at the end of the semester. So if you turn it in late, it will have a 0 and I won't be able to grade it before grades are due. So keep those due dates in mind. Again, I'll remind you in the announcements, but you have to make sure that you do the components as they come. Okay, so that's research essay materials. Now, you can also, at any point, you can look through announcements. Now, there are none of them yet, but I'm about to put one in that will say welcome. But those announcements will tell you this week in humanities, this is what we're going to do. The other thing is when I post an announcement, I also have it automatically sent to your email. So that's another crucial thing. Come in and check your class every day, but make sure you check your email every day. Now, you're thinking, well, where even is my email? Well, that's what's so cool, is I can show you that as well. So if you are looking at this main page, you're looking, wait a second, that's a lot of icons. Well, I'm a teacher, so I have a lot of icons. In fact, I'm also an administrator, so I really have a lot of icons. But you only have a few. Blackboard, you pretty much recognize, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't be in here watching this video. But you also have email, and that email icon, it just looks like an envelope with a piece of paper popping out of it. It's just Microsoft Office Outlook, okay? But you have to check that every single day. So do not check Blackboard over and over again and then email me through Blackboard and then not ever check your email, because I'm trying very hard to write you back, but I will write you back and it will automatically go to your email. And so if you don't check your email, I'm not going to be able to help you. Okay, so you have, and I have students who will say this over and over, well, I emailed you and you never emailed me back. Well, I did, but your email is going to go to your student email box. And the only way you can really check that is to go into your dashboard. Once you turn it, you go into Okta right here. The only way to check it is to go there. So if you don't check your email, you're never going to get my replies back, and that's not a good thing. But I think that's pretty much it. As long as you keep up with the due dates, and that it's a little tougher in certain semesters, or if you're in an exterm or a summer class, but as long as you keep up with those due dates and ask me questions when you need it, watch the videos, read the chapters, you're gonna be fine. But I'm telling you now, if you don't read the chapter, and I'll know if you do because I can see, if you don't view the lecture and you go in and take the exam, you're not going to do well. And my grades pretty much slip one way or the other. They either people get A's and B's because they're doing all the work and they're reading all the chapters and they're viewing the lectures and doing the assignments, or they slip to the other side of the grades, the bad end, because they're not reading, and you may think, oh, I can fudge through and do some, you're going to take the test, exam one, and you're going to get like a 17 out of 100 if you haven't done the work that you need to prepare. So do the preparation, follow the due dates, and you will be good. Okay. And remember, anytime if you need to find, oh no, I need the syllabus again, you can always find it. It's always going to be listed both in that start here. And then if you go to the welcome and getting started, it's going to be listed there as well. You can also email me and say, where is it? And I will write you back and tell you exactly where it is. Or I might even attach it as a document to your email and say, here you go, here it is again. And you can always print it off. So pay attention to that, especially those last two pages of the document, because they're going to have your schedule. If you have questions, please email me. I will write you back as soon as possible. You can also call me at my phone number and extension on campus, and we work Monday through Thursday, so I'm pretty much in my office a lot. And you can come by and say hi anytime, because if you're an online student, I won't even know what your face looks like unless you come by and say hi. So I'm a pretty friendly person, and I'm more than willing to meet with you in my office at any point. You just let me know if you have a question. Take care, and I hope you have a great semester.